what made you select this particular career as your choice? Was it your ambition or was it chance that
Okay. So thank you, Dr. Rohan, for that question. Yeah. So just to give an outlook, I mean, Dr. Rohan actually gave an introduction and he said that I started as a developer. Yeah. So I was a software developer. I started my career like that. And then eventually, like I progressed. The fact is that if you ask me whether I wanted to become a business leader, yeah, at a certain point in time in the career, yes, I did want to. But at the beginning of it, when I started my career, I had no clue, right, to be honest, because at that time, my whole goal was I wanted to become a good developer and develop software, see it working. So for me at that point, a particular time, it was like, if I see my software working, that used to give me a thrill. But then eventually when I progressed and moved on the ladder, when I understood the businesses better, then I wanted to be a business leader. And that's how I managed to get here. So of course, like, not that I have worked in so many companies. I started my career. My first job was at informatics, and then I moved on to John Keells. And once I moved on to John Keells, I mean, I have been here for quite some time. And why I have stayed was because of the opportunities it presented to me. So I got quite a many opportunities to progress my career. So I went from one area to the other. I learned a lot. I had time to, like, the ability to do things which I wanted to do. So because of that, I managed to get here, I guess.
Good evening and welcome to yet another MBA Diary session. I'd like to welcome all our participants and audience from Facebook and on our Zoom platform. Today we have yet another impeccable session for you with the topic driving business in a tough environment. With us, we have a speaker who Dr. Rohan will formally introduce. Doctor, over to you.
Thank you very much, Ruth. I mean, we got an amazing person. She happens to be a corporate professional with 25 plus years of experience, currently the Chief Operating Officer at John Keells Information Systems Private Limited, and is also the Assistant Vice President at John Keells Holdings. Started a career as a software developer, progressed as a business leader. She has achieved many degrees and qualifications in IT. Certified Management Accountant, CMA Australia, and reading for doctorate from Asian Institute of Technology, the University of the UN, as they call it, in Thailand.
Thank you, Dr. Rohanta, and good evening, everybody. And thank you so much for Pete for inviting me. So let me quickly get into the subject. So the topic, let me know whether you can see my screen. So this evening, I'm going to dive into the topic, which is driving business in a tough environment. So just to start off the presentation, the ideas that I'm going to put forth is I would like to ask, what is the most common element in life today?
Go ahead.
Yeah. So I would like to ask you, what is the most common element in life today? Because since COVID, right, hit us, right, you know that there's lots that is going on in the world around, and something is always changing. So change has become part of life, right? And nothing has stayed the same from the point where COVID started. Thereafter, everything has changed. Our personal lives have changed, and so has businesses changed, and the challenges that the business facing has also changed, right? So just to give a little bit of context, what are these challenges that the business faces today, right? So there are many challenges in economical, in various fronts. So if you really analyze the business context, there can be challenges that is coming towards the business from the social side of things. It can be technology related, it can be the environment, the economical, the legal side of things, or it can also be political, right? So all these changes, not only that, because of all the environmental changes, your business can also go through a lot of changes in terms of the changes that you need to make in your business to in order to survive. So there can be certain aspects that you have looked at. Maybe you would have looked at how to your product lines, your services, everything would have had to change to support the current environment that is there. So all these aspects bring a challenging environment and a challenging atmosphere for you to look at the business in a different perspective. So in order to take that particular perspective, let's look at what are the mechanisms to be used to drive a business through tough times. So the most important thing in a business is the cash flow, as you all know, and it is the lifeblood of any company. So if the company is facing like a downturn, right, because of all the issues that are taking place, you need to understand what is your cash flow and also be able to simulate, right? If your downturn is 30% or 40% or 50%, how will the company survive? So you need to understand that. So you need to have a very good understanding of your cash flow. And also you should be able to understand your operating expenses to understand, to know what are the ones that you need to cut down, right, if it requires to be. So that particular assessment needs to be done in order to make sure that you can drive your business forward even in challenging times. So as you know, with all the things that went around after COVID, no business have like no business is going without any issues, right? So there are many challenges that is being faced by all businesses, and all businesses have taken steps in order to understand their cash flows, look at their operating expenses, what are the things that they can do and do better, and how can they optimize. So this has become the norm for every business in order to make sure that they stay in business and continue. So the other thing is like to understand what are your discretionary expenses in order to keep your expenses low. So you would have also looked at what are your policies in terms of travel, maybe in terms of policies in terms of entertainment and things like that. So things cost which are discretionary, you would have looked at it, and what you would have done is to see how you could optimize and or reduce or defer those expenses so that you can, keep your company afloat. Then the other thing that you have also would have looked at is how do you optimize your ROI? So keeping eye on the ROI of the business and how to retain, how to get a return and how to optimize your business is very much required, because you need to understand what are the products, what is your product line, and what are the services that is giving you that ROI, what are the ones that is not making enough money, and how do you rationalize your portfolio in order to make sure that you are able to sell, which is giving an ROI, and so that you can cater to, so that you can get a better revenue out of that. So market positioning and how to, maybe we'll have to look at how you would structure those or model those products and services in a way where you can get a competitive advantage. So ROI becomes very critical, and to understand what are the ones that you would give a better benefit to you. So just like, the other tools that you are available with you for you would be the BCG metrics, where you can analyze your product portfolios, your services, where does it stand when it goes to see, is it a star for you, or is it a star or a question mark, or what it is. So you have to understand your product portfolio better and be able to take what is making money out into the market. Maybe others you might have to like downsize or stop and take a new look at the ones that are selling better and do that for yourself. Then in the other thing is the long-term business goals. So in an environment and atmosphere of this, right, you will not stop looking at your long-term business goals, because that is what is going to, in the end, in the future, drive your business. So because of that, maybe you will change the timelines, and you might change the approach that you would be taking towards your business goals. But you will also, once when you're doing this, you will understand what is working for you and it is what is not, and maintain what is working for you, and keep on pursuing those. Then the other aspect that you need to be very conscious about is your debtors, because that, for you to be able to collect your payments from your debtors is very important to keep your cash flows alive, right? And also on the other hand, you need to also pay your suppliers. So for you to be flexible in that, you need to have enough cash flow, and from your debtors, you need to collect the payments on time. Otherwise, what you have to do will have to be borrowed, and that would incur additional expenses like interest rates. So you have to be very conscious of how you would do that and be able to get at a lower interest rate if you have to borrow. So you have to be conscious of your debtors and the payments to your suppliers. Then also like being focused on your and cultivating a growth mindset, because the fact is that you need to motivate your teams, your company, so that they have the growth mindset that the company can do, right? You're able to lead by example, and you can achieve what you're planning for. So that confidence needs to be given to your teams. And if the teams have to work on a different time zone or put in extra effort, you have to be with them, guiding them and mentoring them and helping them in these times, so that they understand and they are able to work with you. Then the other thing is like your business plans. So you would have had your business plans, and you need to keep on working on that, because you have to monitor your KPIs, right? How you're doing, you need to measure the progress and being able to continue what your business is doing. Then the next aspect of things would be you need to right size your team. So it is very crucial at this point in time, because you need to make profits, and you need to understand who are your top performers and who are the ones that are low performers. So you need to have mechanisms either to train the low performers, or if things are not working, you will have to look at alternative ways of how to handle that situation, because the fact is that you need to keep your business afloat and be conscious of all the costs that are in your organization. So the other fact is that you need to rationalize and identify new revenue streams. So it can be that you might need to diversify your products or services. You have to look at what are the areas where you can invest on, or else you will have to look at the markets where you can expand into, right? So if you feel that, if once you do a market assessment, if you feel that the current market that you're focusing on is not bringing you that required potential, and if it doesn't bring you the market share, then you also need to look at other markets, which markets can give you that benefit. So maybe you need to do market analysis and look at those markets and see how well you can position your products and services. So also, like just as I mentioned before, sometimes you might not be able to sell your products and services the way you have been doing it before. You may have to look at it in a way, you might have to do how do you bundle stuff, or how do you remodel it, or how do you sell to the market, which will have a better perspective for that product, where the product will sell better, right? So in those markets, you have to identify the potential, and then you have to launch into those markets. That is something that you will have to do based on what is happening in the environment around you. Then the other thing is, whatever said and done, you have to keep selling and you have to keep marketing your product. Whatever that happens around, you need to keep selling and marketing. And also, like, you have to look at the synergies you will have with your partners. So one of the important things is, it is gone are the days when you feel that you can do everything from start to the end, from beginning to the end, right? You cannot provide all the services. So what you need to do is you have to collaborate with your partnerships, with your partners, and see how do you collaborate and take products and services along with them to the market. So there can be like services that they can offer, and with your services, maybe you can bring those things together, which can bring a better competitive advantage for the customer, and that would have a better selling proposition in the market. So those are the things that you will have to look at. So it is, saying all this, it is like the times are hard, the times are difficult, and it is not an easy environment, not in any country. If you just go to see, like, every country has different issues, but the fact is that businesses need to survive and businesses need to go on. In order to do that, you need to be able to, as business leaders, understand your business better and see how you could pave that path for your business. So once you make that assessment and are conscious of the environment and are able to figure out the business environment that you can work in, which markets you can take your products and services to give you higher return, right? Then only you will be able to, build up your revenue streams once again, right? And be able to be competitive. For those companies who are doing better or have not had any impact, which is quite rare, but then for those, even they also need to make stock, they need to take stock, and then they need to see how they could improve and do better in what they're doing, right? So times are not easy. So every business is challenged and we need to be geared for that. So these are few thoughts that I thought that I would take you through. And so if there is any questions or anything that you would like to know, maybe the floor is open for any discussions. So Dr. Rohantha, over to you.
The environmental analysis, and that's exactly what we've been discussing, given the huge turmoil that is there in the marketplace. So there's so many questions coming on the chat, but I'll just pick up the key ones that I'm seeing right now. The first question that they're asking is, what made you select this particular career as your choice? Was it your ambition or was it chance that
Okay. So thank you, Dr. Rohan, for that question. Yeah. So just to give an outlook, Dr. Rohantha actually gave an introduction, and he said that I started as a developer Yeah. So I was a software developer. I started my career like that. And then eventually, like I progressed. The fact is that if you ask me whether I wanted to become a business leader, yeah, at a certain point in time in the career, yes, I did want to. But at the beginning of it, when I started my career, I had no clue, right, to be honest, because at that time, my whole goal was I wanted to become a good developer and develop software, see it working. So for me at that point, a particular time, it was like if I see my software working, that used to give me a thrill. But then eventually when I progressed and moved on the ladder, when I understood the businesses better, then I wanted to be a business leader. And that's how I managed to get here. So of course, like not that I have worked in so many companies. I started my career. My first job was at informatics, and then I moved on to John Keells. And once I moved on to John Keells, I mean, I have been here for quite some time. And why I have stayed was because of the opportunities it presented to me. So I got quite a many opportunities to progress my career. So I went from one area to the other. I learned a lot. I had time to like the ability to do things which I wanted to do. So because of that, I managed to get here, I guess.
The question is, as a female business leader, what are the key challenges you have in such a large organization like John Keells Holdings?
Yeah. So, I mean, good question. Yeah. So, basically, I mean, as a business leader, I mean, we look at giving equal opportunity. As John Keells Holdings, we give equal opportunity to ladies and gentlemen in the organization. So, from what I have seen, there are business leaders that have emerged from different sectors who are ladies as well from John Keells Holdings. So though the percentage may be quite less than the male counterparts, but yet there is, I mean, if you are a person who has the required skills and capability and has the potential, I don't think there is any restrictions. And I mean, the path is then is available for you. So what I would say is, it has been a good journey and a great journey, support from people around you. So I guess I don't think there had been a major challenge in moving forward and going ahead in your career because you are a female counterpart. So,
Dilini, can you hear me now?
Yes, can hear you, Dr. Rohant. I hope you heard my answer.
Okay. Yes, very clear. Interesting question coming up. How do you see the key challenges that are going to happen in your industry in the next 2-3 years? And you as a business leader, how will you adjust to them?
Yeah. So key challenges that we see is depending on, I mean, if you're focused in Sri Lanka, now the sector that the industry that we are in is IT, right? So as a business, what we do is we do digital transformation for companies, and we do have the enabling practices that will help a company go progress in their digital transformation journey. So when you look at IT, right, what you see around, when you look at the trends from Gartner and from everywhere, what you see is there is a steady progress and a growth. You're not seeing anything that is going to be of less growth or growth area, but there are, I mean, different practices maybe where certain areas which will grow faster than what is not. So what I see is only the thing is whether the country is able to accommodate those changes, and whether the country is able to, the businesses within that country is able to facilitate those or take those initiatives forward. So even after COVID, what we have seen is that IT industry has not stopped spending, right? If we take the Sri Lankan context, of course, I mean, there had been investments that have been put on hold because of the various situations. But there are others who have also progressed in making those investments because they feel that these are initiatives that the business needs to take. If not, they will eventually not be able to keep up with the competition. So what I would say is, in the IT industry, I would, from the market assessments and from all the research material available and from all the articles that are coming out, I don't see that there would be any restrictions in this particular industry. IT industry will always have a place because businesses needs to, because it enables businesses and it helps businesses to grow. So businesses will keep on investing, and certain markets will progress faster. Certain markets will take it a bit slow. That's how I see it.
So thank you so much for the answer that you shared. We have one more question in the chat.
Sure.
So the student is asking, what is the best professional and business advice you have ever received?
Okay. So the best business advice I have received, I think in the very outset of my career, right, those who mentored me and guided me, I mean, always told me that I need to look at what are the areas that interest me most, right? And to keep pursuing it, and also the challenges that comes my way and the opportunities that come my way, I shouldn't let go of them. So especially, I mean, looking at what at John Keells IT, I mean, there were several opportunities that came my way in terms of I mean, it's not that I had to change my role or my designation. It's just that there were instances when I could play another role, right? Or do additional things than work that is beyond what is expected from my role. So, I mean, as I said, I started as a developer and I was doing this thing, so that at that time, I mean, there were areas of business analysis. There was one time when I just asked, can I get into business analysis and just do this for this particular project, right? And then after that, there were so many other areas that I got into. It's just that, I mean, I realized being open to opportunities, right? It's not that, I mean, it just gave me, we paved my path and gave me a better outlook on what a company is all about. Yeah. So I managed to I mean, some of the divisions of that was under my purview later on, I realized all these little steps that I took, the opportunities that I took just to, I mean, for me to understand those areas, helped me along the way. So when I progressed in my career and became a part of a lead in a particular area in a business unit, at that particular time, I realized, okay, all these times when I invested in understanding the business or giving my inputs or getting involved was not in vain at all, because when it came to that point, I have gone through that journey, understood these areas, and I have got my hands dirty. So what I would like to tell even the others who are in this forum is, don't ever be afraid to get your hands dirty, because when you're young and when you have just started your career, that's the best time to learn. And when you have that opportunity before you, please don't say no, because you never know, right? Just as I ended up being here, right? You will never know where your career will take you up to, right? Maybe you have plans to progress and become a business leader, but all these little things that you do will actually count at the end and help you come up there faster. So that's my advice,
Dilini,
and that's what I got from my supervisors. Never say no to an opportunity, just progress. Do it.
To be fearless, basically, and be open
Yes.
to opportunities. That is
Correct.
wonderful
Dilini,
advice.
one more question before.
Sure. Yes, Dr. Rohant, I'm waiting for you.
Dilini, one more question. What made you do your doctoral studies?
So the reason why I decided to start reading for a doctorate is because like you, I was studying in different things. In IT I had done a lot of degrees and these things. Then I did CMA, which is like a certificate of management accountant, just to understand that area, because it will help me to understand my business better when it comes to the outlooks on management information, things like that. So, and after that, there was a time when I was not studying anything as such, but of course reading stuff and all that. But then eventually, like what I recognized, of course, Dr. Rohanta was also one of the people who was saying that it's good for you to look at this, right? But eventually, like, I made up my mind to do it because I realized, there is no end to study, right? And when you are focused in studying something, you gain, not like just reading up things, but you're focused on something and you're able to understand what is going around better. So especially when it comes to a doctorate, what you're doing is you're doing research, right? So you try to understand the things that you like about much better because you're reading the research that has been done by other people concerned with regards to your areas of interest. So so it gave me some thought that it is time to look at something like a doctorate, because you are able to, like, one is systematically go through a process, and then secondly is that you are open to looking at research and be able to also, like, one other thing that motivated is, like, I just wanted to be able to publish my own research. So that is one of the other areas that really motivated me in following a doctorate.
Dilini, I think in addition to the theory, the experience that you've shared, the key takeaway, well, at least for me, would be to be fearless.
Of course.
And to be open to opportunities. I love that. And as we draw to a close of yet another MBA Diary session, I would like to thank our speaker. I think there's a bit of a lag. We're having some technical issues.
Correct. Today we're having some technical issues, right?
But that's all right. Thank you so much, Dilini. We know you are a busy person, and on top of your workload, you've taken up your doctorate that you're reading for, which is amazing. So you are a very busy person, needless to say, and yet you took the time out to come talk to our students. We highly appreciate this, the knowledge that you've shared and the experience. And so as we draw to a close, I'd like to also thank the IT team for the technical support that we've received during this session. Our students who've come on the platform, all those who've asked questions, our alumni, our industry partners, and our well-wishers who have logged in to yet another MBA Diary session. So till we meet again, I'd like to wish everybody a good day, good afternoon, and a good evening from wherever you are joining us from. Take care. Till next time.